Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1965 Chevy Corvette Stingray. Up front is a 396 cubic inch V8, and down below is a 4-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Corvette C2 for many reasons, but mainly that motor under the hood. The 396 only lasted half of a model year. It's a very rare car, and this vehicle also recently went through a frame-off restoration. And so while the outside may retain its original patina, underneath it is factory fresh. And so today we're gonna be getting a very glorious look at the Corvette C2 from 1965. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 396 under the hood. Works out to be about a 6.5 liter V8. Well, as you'll see on the air cleaner, it makes 425 horsepower. Now, before 1972, that's actually rated at the crank. It's not what it makes to the wheels, but still, it's making high 300s to the wheels, so it's not schlobby in any sort of way. Now, the 396 is very special because they only made about 2,600 of them. They only sold about 2,600 of them. And this is what replaced the Fuelie, and then this got replaced by the 427 in 1966. I don't know if I'm strong enough to try it in first, so let's try it in second. Oh my goodness! Oh, I feel like the strongest man in the world. Oh, that is exhilarating. Down into third. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's so good. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, it is an absolute monster, and I love it. So why the heck did they only make this motor for half a year? Literally the second half of 1965. Pre-June of 65, you couldn't get this motor. Well, at the time, GM had this weird internal policy that they wouldn't put any motor into a car that was over 400 cubic inches that wasn't their big, large sedans. So anything that wasn't a big, large sedan had to be under 400 cubic inches. That's why this is a 396. It's 4 cubic inches away from a 400, but it's not one. So Chevy developed this engine to be their big dog. But in 1966, when the muscle car craze was starting to get a little bit out of control, Dodge was putting 440s into their mid-size vehicles. GM finally said, okay, let's take this self-governed ban off and put the big motors in, and that's when the Corvette got the 427. Previous to this motor, there was the Fuelie motor, which was a 327 that was fuel injected. However, when they developed this motor, it was actually half the price and made 50 more horsepower. So once they debuted this, they killed the Fuelie, essentially. Now, you'll still see Fuelies come up for sale quite a bit because they only made 700 or 800 of them. They're very, very rare in the Corvette lineage, but they're not any better. This is actually what you want until the 427 comes out. And this is rare in its own regard as well. So it still has that cool mystique about it. But yeah, it is a 6-month engine, which is just so cool. It shows back in the 60s, they could bring stuff to and from market in a matter of weeks rather than years like we see nowadays. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed manual. Although I have driven a C2 before, never driven the manual. This was recently rebuilt with the frame-off build as well. It's absolutely lovely. Shifter throw is great. It does have a heavier clutch, especially me. I'm more accustomed to Miatas and S2000s and RX-7s that have super, super light clutches. Considerably, it's a fine clutch if you're used to Corvettes and Camaros and Mustangs, You're gonna feel right at home with this clutch, but for me, it is a little bit on the heavier side, but it also has that sturdier side. It's a lot more confident, and you want that confidence when you're behind a 396. Last but not least, of course, the Corvette is rear-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Corvette Stingray? This is just so fantastic. And the coolest thing to me is that I've been very fortunate to drive a lot of 1960s cars. Comparatively to the traffic around it, this is an absolute rocket ship. This is insane. This is unfathomable. Even the Galaxy 500s that were out at the same time, those are big, slow-rolling boats compared to this. I mean, it's comparing little tugboats in the harbor to cigarette boats out on the open waters. It's so thrilling, so exhilarating, and so raw. And with the side pipes next to you, you get this harmonious sing as you drive. Yeah. You have no traction control to rely on, no stability control, nothing. I mean, this was built by some good old boys in St. Louis, so take it easy. You know, take it easy. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 6 gauges. Off to the left, we have fuel, battery voltage, and speedometer, and off to the right is the tachometer, water temperature, and oil pressure. We also have, of course, our key for the ignition and our lights and wipers off to the left. On the door, we have our little smoker's window crank, as well as the crank for the main window, and the latch to get in and out. I like this sort of ball peen look that it has. And moving into the center, we get a wonderful clock. We get our climate controls, although it's really just air vents. We get our vertical radio. This was a traditional radio that you would have found in other GM products, but they switched it to be vertical in order for it to fit in this center stack. And then coming into the center, of course, we have the shifter off to the left, mimicking the latch to get in and out. I love that sort of continuity in the interior. And we have the shift pattern down below. We have, of course, our ashtray off to the right. And our seatbelts actually come from the center. So they're basically airplane style seatbelts. You pull the buckle from the interior, you pull the other side from your left, connect them in the middle. There you go. Is it really gonna help in a wreck these days? Probably not, but at least it gives you a little bit of peace of mind. The seats are little, they are comfortable, however. They're doing the job here today, and they're holding me within the seat too. Now, we don't have any back seats. We will do a brief look at the trunk, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so I actually kind of lied. There's not a traditional trunk. I don't know why in my head I thought that there was, but there isn't. So reach under here, and there's a latch, and you could pull this up. So this houses the convertible top. You could pull this whole thing up. There we go. It's hard to do one-handed. That goes down, then you put this down, and then you fold this back. These click into here. I'm not gonna do it because it's kind of a pain to do all the way, but that's how you get the top up and down. So fold this back up. No power mechanisms or anything like that. Hold this back up. Scoot this down. But before I do it, that's the storage space, but you can't really access it while the top is up because the top goes over it. So it's really just dead space. It's just dead space for the top. So that is kind of a downside, but you do get some storage behind the seats, I guess. So fair enough. Put that back down just like that. Make sure it clicks on both sides. There you go. That is the cargo space, if you want to call it that, of the C2 Corvette. Now we got to talk about the looks. I forget the specific name of this green. It's a very, very nice green. I will put it up on the screen now. It is absolutely wonderful. Love the look of it. And although it was a frame-off restoration, the body was not touched. So all of the mechanical parts were refurbished, engine was rebuilt, but all using original parts, besides like gaskets, seals, things like that. The body itself was not touched. The only thing unoriginal on the body is the driver's door. Back in the early 1980s, a previous owner was driving it in the snow, spun out and hit a tree, and it banged up the door pretty good. So he had to buy a new door in the 1980s. So this door is still like 40 plus years old, but I guess technically not original to this car. I also really do like the look of the C2. It's growing on me for sure, especially with the pop-up headlights or pop-around headlights, whatever you want to call them. I think it looks really great, and boy, do I like being seen in a car like this. With all of that being said, though, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving now a proper C2? There is another 1965 Corvette Stingray video on the channel. I drove that car in New Jersey. It was a great car, but it was vapor locking, didn't really run right. I was in a school zone, so I really couldn't open it up, and it was automatic. So it was a very neutered version of the C2. Still a lovely car. It was owned by a lovely couple in New Jersey. Love them to death. But this is a better runner. Of course, it was just frame off restored, so it ought to better be. This car is so rock and roll. I mean, it is so raw, so visceral. The 396 is absolutely ludicrous. All the power in the world and nothing to rely on but me, myself, and I. And you know, when I prepare for reviews like this, especially cars as iconic as this, I tend to try to listen to some of the music of the era when I'm driving to the shoot, to try to, you know, get in the right headspace. So I was listening to a lot of 60s music, thinking about the 60s, and you know, the 1960s, 1964 specifically, when this car was being developed, was a very rebellious time. There was a lot of protesting going on, not only for civil rights, but also for the Vietnam War. There was protesting against the man. There was this sort of pushback against societal norms. Music, you know, I know it was the end of the era, but Fortunate Son is such a staple of the Vietnam War and of that era. You know, the angst and anger was building during 1965 that made that song what it was. And the reason I bring that up is that this car feels angry. It feels annoyed, and it unleashes that annoyance, it unleashes that anger, it unleashes that aggression on you, and it's such a wonderful treat when it does. That 396 is an almost middle finger to the Fuel-y cars because it was able to make 50 more horsepower for half the price. If that's not a metaphorical fuck you, I don't know what is. And so everything about this is just so great. I'm obsessed now. I can't get enough of this. I can only imagine what a 427 car would do to my face and gut, because this is already rearranging quite a bit. Oh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Huge thank you to Anthony for letting me borrow his C2 for today's video. Anthony's been absolutely awesome. So cool that he literally just got this back from restoration the day before I filmed this video. He literally got it back yesterday. He emailed me the other night and said, hey, it is fresh off the truck home. Come film it. And I said yes. And I'm so thankful that I did. Anthony has been wonderful to work with, and I look forward to working with him again in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.